Okay guys, I have a different video today. So, I want to talk about Destiny. Destiny 2 PvP in general. Now, Destiny 2 PvP has, well, we've seen a lot of different states. We've seen it go from Destiny 1 to things like Icebreaker and such, to Destiny 2 where with Forsaken and that one double primaries, and of course Stasis, and now Void 3.0. Now we have Void 3.0. So Destiny has gotten, I want to say its PvP has gone worse. I go in and I get mapped by SMGs and Titans punching me from the other side of the map, and I want to throw my monitor out the window.
This game's so bad! God damn it! You're so bad!
So why has it gotten this bad? That's what we have to ask ourselves. Why has PvP turned into this bumblefuck nightmare with Stasis and Void 3.0 and rampant stompy hunters and overpowered overshields? Why has this happened? Now, the first thing I would like to highlight for a reason is that, well, Destiny's become too complicated, and this is by design. This is what Bungie wants. They want you to have a power fantasy, of course. Now, this power fantasy has become, well, it's become very problematic because anyone can use anything they want in Crucible. They can use the most overpowered weapons, they can use the most broken things, and Bungie doesn't really get around to nerfing these things. And since they don't get around to nerfing these things like Mountaintop and Bastion and such, they go and they run around for like a whole season. And it's awful. It really is. It is so unfun to play a game when things are overpowered and you feel like you did nothing wrong in the situation, but you still died. You understand? Now, I want to say that it's gone too complicated because there's so many things you can use. Yeah, I said that earlier. But there's so many things that are simply too strong. That by design are too strong, and they don't require much skill. They don't require anything of you. They just pay out. That's all they do. They just pay out. Now, subclasses. Subclasses is the first thing I want to start with being overpowered. Oh god. Now, Stasis was awful. I think we can all say that we hated being frozen, and that getting shadow dived might have made us want to jump off a bridge. Now, this isn't surprising because, well, just getting frozen is unfun, and it's not very great in FPS games because you can do nothing wrong and still get hit by a grenade and frozen. But I feel like they have more or less neutralized Stasis, except for those Stasis gloves. But Void 3.0 right now is too overpowered. It's too much. It's unfun to play against. Why do Titans have constant overshields? This is actually a problem. Now, you have to stop adding so much. That's what Bungie has to do. They have to stop adding things that are more powerful than what we have, because that causes power creep and Bungie has to buff things. They don't nerf as much as they need to, and they don't understand that sometimes you have to nerf things. You have to get rid of them because people hate them. They really do. Classes have become too overpowered. The grenades are overpowered, like Axions and scatter grenades. I believe it's scatter. It's the one where you throw it down and It throws a bunch of little scattery things. If you wombo combo that, then it one hits. Which is unfair. If you yeah, grenades have become overpowered. They're too good. They're way too good, and they've really just taken the fun out of PvP because someone can just throw a grenade and you have to back up or you just die. It's that simple. Overshields from Titan are the worst thing ever. Don't keep giving Titans overshields. Just don't. They're awful. They're unfun to play against. Giving Titans constant healing and overshields gives us a problem where I can't fight back against the Titans because they simply have more health. Even if I hit all my, let's say I'm using hand cannon and this Titan is using a hand cannon. If we both hit all our shots, then he's still going to be alive because he had an overshield. And it's going to give him a unfair advantage, which isn't fair. It's not. Bungie has to recognize that these things aren't fair and that they're too much for the game, especially with Stasis Titans having constant overshields. It was too good. It really made you want to smash your head into the wall when 3 Stasis Titans anally raped you when in trials because you weren't using the same thing as them, because they spam overshields and all they have to do is run at you and shotgun you because they have so much health that backing up, well, it isn't enough. Now, SMGs and outlying weapons have been and also very bad in PvP. Submachine guns, bows, hand cannons even. Hand cannons have been... I wouldn't want to say hand cannons have been overpowered. They really haven't. They've been good for a long time just because they have the peak shot potential and they do cause a lot of flinch, making them good for a long time. But if you miss a shot with a hand cannon, then your kill speed goes way into the trash. But with SMGs and bows, fusion rifles, heavy ammo, Lord of Wolves, slug shotguns, these things, they're awful. They're so hard to play against. They're so hard to have fun with because you can't add cheese weapons and expect people to love them. You can't. As someone who plays PvP a lot, these things are just, they make the game unfun because they give someone else an unfair advantage. Like, Lord of Wolves has been way too good for too long, especially this Trials weekend. There would be 3 Lord of Wolves on a team and it's ridiculous. They're too overpowered. You'd get close to them and then they'd run away and go invis and come back with their Lord of Wolves and map you. It really sucks. It really does. Now, I want to say that you have to take it out, because where's the power fantasy in Destiny? Well, it's primarily a PvE game. And you have to understand that because that's why they don't focus on PvP as much or at all, because they haven't focused on PvP for so long, and it's really getting terrible out there, to be honest. So if you take these things out of PvP, then it leaves us with a still very wide sandbox. You still have a bunch of weapons like scout rifles and auto rifles and hand cannons and snipers and shotguns and, well, trace rifles and a bunch of things. And this would really help give that power fantasy back to PvE too, because now instead of using your stupid fusion rifle to map people and make them bash their heads in.
You're so bad!
People can play PvE and they can have fun with that. They can have fun with their fusion rifle in PvE instead of making PvP just hard to play. Because PvP right now is so hard to play. It's so hard to want to get on because it's so obnoxious. It is so obnoxious that SMGs kill at a time they do and with the same range that they do. It's ridiculous. And don't get me started about last word on controller. There's no reason why it should be so much better on controller where mouse and keyboard users see it as the worst piece of garbage and controller players see it as an S tier weapon. That's way too big of a difference. Now, that's all my thoughts for today, but just go away. I'm not gonna be playing PvP for a bit.